Imagine this. You're mid-conversation with a friend, and suddenly it hits you. That strange wave of familiarity. You know what they'll say next. You know how this moment unfolds. Yet you also know you've never lived it before. That's déjà vu, French for already seen. It lasts just seconds, but in that moment, something deep inside whispers, "This has happened before." Some call it a brain glitch. Others believe it's a glimpse behind the curtain of reality, a moment when time folds in on itself. So, what's really happening when the present feels like a memory? That's exactly what we're exploring today, where science meets the strange. Welcome to Brain Eidos. First, let's dive into the origins of that feeling. The term déjà vu was first introduced in 1876 by a French philosopher named Émile Boirac, who described it as the sensation of already lived experience. But the mystery predates modern psychology. In ancient India, it was called purva samskara, past impressions. Plato believed it was the soul remembering a previous existence, in other words, anamnesis. And mystics, from east to west, saw it as proof that consciousness transcends time. Think about that. The same phenomenon, interpreted across cultures, always pointing to something beyond logic. It's almost as if humanity has been trying to decode the same glitch for thousands of years. Pop culture gave déjà vu its most famous symbol in The Matrix. Remember the black cat that Neo sees twice? Trinity's reaction, a glitch in the Matrix, instantly turned déjà vu into a metaphor for reality bending. A sign that somewhere, something changed. Writers like Alfred Tennyson describe déjà vu as ghostly remembrances. Carl Jung saw it as a sign of synchronicity, a moment where your internal world aligns perfectly with the outer one. A meeting point between meaning and matter. And maybe that's why it feels so powerful. Because in those few seconds, the boundaries between me and everything else blur, as if reality itself is trying to remind you that you've been here before, in some form, in some lifetime, or maybe just in a dream. There's another way to see it. What if déjà vu isn't about the past at all, but about parallel presence? Quantum theory suggests that every decision creates new realities, a branching multiverse of possibilities. Maybe déjà vu is what happens when two of those paths momentarily overlap, and your consciousness catches the echo. I remember once walking through a market in Istanbul, a place I'd never been before, but as I turned a corner, everything froze. The smell of roasted coffee, the sound of a child laughing, the woman arranging fruit, all of it felt carved from a memory I didn't have. It wasn't fear I felt, it was recognition. Like two versions of me were standing in the same frame, for just a second. It made me wonder, maybe déjà vu isn't proof that we've been here before, but proof that somewhere we still are. But while mystics talk of parallel cells and infinite timelines, science has its own fascinating explanation. And for that, let's bring in Eli.
I knew you'd pass it to me right there. Funny. Almost like I've heard that line before.
Maybe you just had déjà vu.
Or maybe that's just the perfect cue to bring in the science. Let's look at what's really happening inside the brain when the present feels like the past. Déjà vu feels mystical, but it starts in the machinery of memory. Inside your brain, the temporal lobe decides what feels familiar, and the hippocampus stores and retrieves actual memories. Usually they work in perfect sync, but when they misfire, the present can be mistaken for the past. Here's how it happens. In simple terms, dual processing delay. One signal reaches awareness a split second late, so the brain experiences the same input twice. Memory overlap. A new scene matches pieces of an old one, or even a dream, triggering the "I've seen this" tag. Microseizure theory. Tiny, harmless electrical bursts in the temporal lobe mimic the pattern of recall. Predictive coding. The brain constantly predicts what's next. When a prediction and reality align too perfectly, your mind mistakes prediction for memory. This isn't speculation, it's been observed. In the 1950s, neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield stimulated the temporal lobes of patients. They instantly reported vivid déjà vu. More recently, virtual reality experiments recreated the feeling by repeating spatial patterns that looked familiar but weren't. And fMRI scans show déjà vu activates the same areas as genuine recollection. Almost everyone experiences it, especially between ages 15 and 25, when the brain's memory circuits are hyperactive and still refining timing. So yes, déjà vu has a biological basis, but that doesn't make the feeling any less mysterious. It's one of the rare moments where science and spirituality overlap. Because once you strip away the neural explanation, you're left with that powerful emotional certainty that you stood in this exact moment before. That's where theories go cosmic. Many worlds interpretation. Every choice creates new timelines. Déjà vu might be when two nearly identical versions of you sync for a moment. Simulation hypothesis. If reality is coded, déjà vu could be a memory refresh, a quick system reload. Dream crossover theory. Your dreams simulate futures. When one becomes real, you recognize the pattern instantly. None of these are proven, but they all echo the same truth: that reality may be far less linear than we think. And maybe the most practical truth is this: each time déjà vu hits, your awareness sharpens. You become more present. Whether it's glitch or guidance, it's a reminder to slow down and look closer. If ideas like this spark your curiosity, tap like, not for the algorithm, but to help this channel grow into a space for deep thinkers like you. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're just getting started. Maybe déjà vu is both things at once. The instrument is the brain, its timing, its circuitry. The music is consciousness, interpreting those signals as meaning. Every so often, instrument and music align perfectly, and reality feels like a chord you've already heard. That's déjà vu, the harmony between science and soul. Maybe déjà vu isn't about remembering the past. Maybe it's about recognizing a pattern, a sign that you're exactly where you're meant to be. What if, in those few seconds of familiarity, the universe is whispering, you're on the right path? So tell me, have you experienced déjà vu? Did you sense the next word, the next turn, the next song? Share your story in the comments. I read every one. And next time it happens, don't brush it off. Pause. Breathe. Because maybe, just maybe, you're catching a glimpse of another reality, peeking through this one.